I can never get the adjustment on the seat right. There we go. At least now it's a little more center. So, first of all, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the first Friday in February. And just think, 4 Fridays, actually, on the 9th, 16th, 23rd. Yeah, I just gotta do 3 more Fridays, and then the 4th Friday will be March 1st. So, time is already flying by. So, honestly, if I have a low from yesterday, because yesterday really was an overall really great day. I guess it's the fact that I didn't really get to see my mom yesterday. I mean, I called her, I talked to her, and I told her I love her, but I didn't see her yesterday. So, that's, again, I did talk to her. And I will admit, the reason why I talked to her is because I was at Pix last night, right? And for whatever reason, I can't get my phone to ring, or if it does ring, I can't feel it in my pocket sometimes because it's on vibrate. And I look at my phone oh, I have a call and a message. Oh, my mom left me a message, so I called her, told her I love her, stuff like that. And so, I did get to talk to my mom yesterday, but I do feel kind of bad I didn't get to see her. So, there you go. But last night, I had a great time at Pix. That's my high, by the way. My high is I had a great time at Pix, saw a few friends, which, it's really funny. They want me to be like, Nick, tell everyone on your blog that your friends are crazy. And I'm not gonna say what word that is because that it would get me canceled. The point is, I really had a great time. They both of them know who they are. Although it was funny because I sat next to them at the bar, right? And they got their menu because I just arrived. They already sat there. Their menu's right there. I'm looking from afar at what their menu is, but right in front of me, like in front of me, but below me, just barely out of my eyesight. They're talking about a photo that I'm not meant to see, and so they start yelling at me Nick, this is girl talk. Don't do that. I'm looking at the menu that you got right there. So a misunderstanding. A funny misunderstanding, but a misunderstanding nonetheless. But it really was a nice time. I guess for now I grandfathered myself into trying all things pickle related at Pix Pub at Pix Pub. So it's funny. They have an item on the menu called Bacon Wrapped Pickles. They have another item called Cream Cheese Stuffed Pickles. But they have one item called Bacon Wrapped Stuffed Pickles. So, long story short, I got the last one, so I technically knocked out 3 items in one shot. That's what we in the business call thinking smarter, not harder. Actually, let me do it. That's what we call thinking smarter and not harder. Okay, so that sounded kind of dirty now, didn't it? Let's see, an act of kindness. What's my act of kindness? Well, again, I did call my mom and tell her I love her. Well, I don't think that's really... I guess you can consider that an act of kindness, I suppose. But I know I also did other stuff yesterday, too. I ran a couple of errands for my grandma. I did that. Actually, it's funny. One of the errands I did for my grandma was I did some grocery shopping for her, and I actually didn't take very long to do it. And the reason why is, several of the items that she wanted me to get food from Wegmans. Several of the items that she wanted on her list were all within 5 feet of each other. Okay, not literally 5 feet of each other, but they were close by. In fact, literally one of the items I got on the list was to my right after I walked by the sliding glass door. So, again, that's what we call thinking smarter, not harder. We do that here. Hey, look, it may be a funny joke, but I'm just saying, 34 years, and not once has a woman ever said to me, my eyes are up here. I like to think I'm doing pretty good about that. Actually, I should say never has a woman ever said my eyes are up here. Because if I said not once, that could technically imply that it's happened more than once, but that's not true. It's never happened before. So, never has a woman ever said to me, my eyes are up here. There we go. That's how it should work. Speaking of things of how it should work, we had a new Hot Ones episode yesterday. John Oliver, which, here's the thing. The only thing I remember about John Oliver was the fact that he was one of those field reporters for The Daily Show back when Jon Stewart was on there. And they did talk about that a little bit, even though, actually, it's funny. Jon Stewart was really only mentioned maybe twice that whole episode. And altogether, it was maybe for 10, 15 seconds in an over 20 plus minute episode. I don't even think that was 1% of the episode. So, it was actually really funny when the episode starts because if you ever watch Hot Ones, they clearly start off the episode with sort of a sneak preview of what's about to happen later on the episode. Usually it's after they tried the bomb for the first time. And with John Oliver's episode, he didn't actually point to the bomb. He didn't actually say it was the bomb, but yeah, it was totally the bomb. Especially if you watch the episode, and yes, it is the bomb. Where he's like, this isn't the worst thing humanity has ever done, but it's definitely one of our worst instincts. Which, come to think of it, that was one of the questions. But we'll get to that momentarily. So, they talked about John Oliver's all-time favorite misuse of HBO resources on doing Last Week Tonight, which is they got Russell Crowe's jockstrap from the movie Cinderella Man, which Cinderella Man is a good movie. I recommend that movie. And they sent it to the last working Blockbuster in Oregon, which it's funny to say last. There are people who are too young to know what Blockbuster is. That's sad. That really is kind of sad when you think about it. He talked about how it was when they got to the second sauce. Sean asked about any experiences using his British accent as a superpower because he mentioned that Louis Theroux, who was on during season 22, I believe, or was it season 21? Shoot. It was one of the previous 2 seasons that Louis Theroux was on. And Louis Theroux talked about using his, British accent as a superpower. John Oliver didn't really talk about that so much as he talked about how he actually almost met Louis Theroux. Well, almost met. Basically, the people at The Daily Show were planning a surprise party for him. And to get him to come to the surprise party, they said, hey, Louis Theroux is here. Do you want to meet him? And John Oliver's like, yeah, I want to meet him. Okay, he didn't really say it like that, but yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. And, surprise! It was a surprise party. And he wanted to be disappointed to meet Louis Theroux. So that's funny. He talked about when working as a field reporter for The Daily Show, he broke his nose, got back to work, and they replayed the clip over and over of him breaking his nose. And it was funny because everyone who he worked with was more concerned about the overall joke than John Oliver himself. It's funny because You know how you get those kinds of experiences where you're in an environment that you like, but you're not entirely sure if you belong? The fact that John Oliver was able to go through all that, he's like, this is where I belong. So good on him for that. He talked about how the Edinburgh Comic Festival isn't curated. Because usually if you have an event, like you gotta be invited to that event for a comic event, right? But that's not the case there. Like that kind of quality control doesn't exist. And he then talked about the time that he bombed on stage, but when it comes to the Edinburgh Festival, like that's kind of like a rite of passage. I mean, here's the thing. I have thought of being a stand-up comic myself. I will admit though, I don't know if I can handle bombing on stage. I mean, I guess bombing, not just at the Edinburgh Comic Festival, but in general. I think every comedian bombs on stage. The problem is though, I'm worried like, because obviously if I was a comedian, I would bomb more than once. I guess the key is to not do it consistently. I don't know. I guess I'm overthinking that. Let's see. He talked about, because John Oliver once said, the loudest journalism in America is generally saying the least, which I thought I thought that meant that there's power in subtlety. But then John Oliver started talking about how there are things that should be known to others, so you kind of gotta force feed it to people, but in a certain way. I don't know, I kind of didn't really get that one. Personally, I like my idea where like, yeah, the loudest journalism in America is generally saying the least. Like, just be subtle. There's power in subtlety. Like, you don't have to be blunt with everything you say. In fact, literally, some of the greatest stories I've ever read or heard about, or some of the greatest jokes I've ever heard, worked not only with subtlety, but because of the subtlety, the comedy wound up working in layers, which is awesome in that regard. Which is awesome if you're able to do it properly. He talked about how he generally finds, discomfort or finds a level of comfort in the stress and tension of a quote-unquote adversarial interview. Basically talking to guests who are, kind of known for being kind of hard to work with and stuff. He actually finds it, comforting. He loves working under that stress and pressure, but he doesn't know why. I guess that's John Oliver for you. He talked about how if you're ever at a Liverpool match, a chant you should know is Masala, Masala, Musala, Musala, running down the lane. Salah, the Egyptian king. He also talked about nailing the free kick in Cerrado and his list of accomplishments being depressingly high. That was the greatest thing ever. Okay. This is what I alluded to earlier. The bomb. Where, Sean wanted his raw take on hot topics. And then he proceeds to talk about how much he loves the Muppets. He talks about how Love Island is bad. Like, if you take our best, which was Monty Python, you have to take our worst, which is Love Island. Which, harsh much. He didn't like George Santos at first, but now he loves him. And as I said earlier, he doesn't think the bomb is the worst thing humanity's ever done, but it's part of the worst instincts, if that makes sense. Sean then later asked him about, any odd jobs he worked with, but then, because it was either being, working on a farm, or working, I forget what the other one was. All I know is that John Oliver immediately started talking about him working as a cashier. As a quote-unquote cashier Robin Hood. Basically, his way of pricing things was really funny. Like, let's say, because he worked in like an old-timey, family-run grocery store. Like a Meniere's or a Jubilee in my area. And, like, let's say he saw someone pull up in like a really fancy car. Not like a Ferrari or anything like that, but like a nice car, a really fancy car. Like, I don't know, like a Mustang, I guess. Like, he would charge like 10 plus dollars for like a can of beans or something. But like, if a family of 4 showed up, or like a mom that has like 4 kids, they're like, here, these beans are half. This one sole can of beans is half price. So, yeah, basically, he made rich people pay more, and he made poor people pay less. Which, again, kind of like Robin Hood. And then the last question. Honestly, this is actually how I feel too, by the way. Like, after working nearly 2 decades in journalism, like, how does John Oliver think the future will be? And literally his answer resonated with me. Because that's actually how I feel too. He believes that the future is hopeful. Like, there really are good things on the horizon, which I agree with. I also agree with the fact when he said, it's hopeful, but not without some bad things happening. That couldn't be a more profound answer for me to resonate with. Because it's 100% true. It's literally what I said on Wednesday. When I talked about how January is almost over, spring is going to be coming soon, but we got to get through all of February 1st. Not just, literally February 1st is the next day, but you get the idea. There is a lot we got to get through to get to the good stuff in life. And there are times where it will be hard. But we gotta push on. We gotta get through it. My advice, find some like-minded people and do it together. Things are a lot better when you do things together. I hope you all like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I enjoy a home this video. For all of you guys who are watching George today, hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, wait, did I say Happy Friday? I forgot to do Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. And remember, actually, I did do Happy Friday. What is it with me thinking I forgot to do happy whatever day of the week it is, and then, I wind up doing it again anyway? Well, regardless, I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday. Remember, if you guys want to talk to us, we're here to let me know you're back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.